Going over to the political part podcast, you have Matt Walsh reacting to a new law in Pennsylvania that bans "quote unquote" hair racism and makes it so you can't fire someone based on their hair. Now, this is Matt Walsh responding to End Wokeness. Now, it's actually the governor speaking. So, End Wokeness actually posted this. He said, quote, Pennsylvania bans hair racism by making a new protected class for hairstyles such as dreadlocks. Which is a very unique suit that gal has on, the governor, I believe. It's a white suit with polka dots all over. At least it's unique. Cliche glasses, of course.
Human Relations Commission. The same would happen for our bill because now hair discrimination is part of the protected class of race, which is in the PA Human Relations Act. So they could call their statewide Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, and there are also satellite offices all across the state.
There's something stupid about politicians left or right. It's so funny when they're standing in front of a microphone. They have their cronies behind them. They're just nodding stupidly. And again, people on the left and the right do it equally. But I always think it's so kind of cliche and dumb just to have someone behind you as like a hype man or just be like, yeah, I agree. Maybe I should like this. I mean, I should like this law. My hair should be protected. I don't have to worry about getting a haircut. My boss can't fire me. I'm kidding. I'm in Boston. I'm in Texas. And I'll get a cut eventually. One of those things there's only so many hours in a day. And this went pretty well. Again, got 1.7 million views and 9.1 thousand likes for End Wokeness. We'll read a couple of responses here before we go back to Matt Walsh. Paul Zupa says, Pennsylvania is a ridiculous state, gained 586 likes. Brother Eagleman says, quote, WTF, gained 874 likes. They're like, Cowgirl says, the dumbest shit ever, what a waste of time, gained 74 likes. David Santa Clara got 1.6 thousand likes for this. He says, quote, black fragility is exhausting. Spitfire says, what planet am I on? Gained 394 likes. Mega Mop says, we live in the stupidest timeline in history, gained 1,000 likes. Patriot Steve says, at this point, if you vote Democrat, you're a complete effing moron. Gained 941 likes. Zuby says, the USA is not a serious country. Gained 3.4 thousand likes. Carol B. Swain, PhD, says, I'm Michelle Obama. I'm Michelle Obama, and I approve the ending of hair discrimination. Gained 525 likes. EBT Queens says, cultural appropriation, says the black woman wearing a blonde, straight-haired wig. In fact, why do black women wear straight hair wigs at all? Shouldn't black women be walking around bald? And you have a white gal with braids, and then you have a black gal with a cartoon with blonde hair, and she says, my culture is not your hairstyle, getting 888 likes. See. Going back now, Matt Walsh, now his take, he says, quote, among the many problems with the idea of a quote-unquote protective hairstyle is precisely no one of the black hairstyles are actually unique to black people or originated by them. Nordic people wore dreadlocks thousands of years ago. Victoria-era Europeans wore tight curls, and so did Greeks and Romans before them. Braids have been worn by all races of people everywhere on the globe since the dawn of humanity. This ridiculous law rests on the idea that certain hairstyles are historically associated with black people in a unique way, but no hairstyles are. So it's all bullshit from the start. Yeah, Matt Walsh went pretty viral, getting about 477,000 views and 12,000 likes. Although, do we have a contrarian statement right at the top? This is thanks to Tony Young, who says, quote, of all the issues in the USA, Matt Walsh woke up and said, what the first black thing I can point out and dispute? Low-hanging fruit. Why not do a documentary on what is an American instead of always trying to find issues with blacks? Getting 84 likes, though he was, I guess, in terms of statistically comically ratioed by Matt Walsh himself, who said, quote, the state of Pennsylvania just passed a law on this issue. The governor of the state held a press conference and did a signing ceremony, and I'm the one who's solely focused on it because I posted a tweet. Okay. Getting 684, 685, 86 like, going up like a stock. Sagittarius Fresh Eternia says, quote, the progressive apparatus manufactures new victim categories to ensure a permanent state of grievance. Walsh correctly identifies a historical illiteracy by the left. They claim ownership over universal human aesthetics to enforce political submission. This legislation is about granting special privileges based on race essentialism. They weaponize the trivial to distract from the systematic failures. A confident culture celebrates shared history, while these cultural Marxists demand we segregate ourselves by hair texture. It is pathetic, getting 38, let's make it 39 likes. You have Alex Grace, who, poor son of a bitch, he's conservative, believes in freedom. He's stuck in Canada. We have no freedom of speech, no right to defend yourself. Imagine believing in freedom, being stuck in Canada with America right there. You're so close. Just so close. Now, Alex Grace says, quote, anyone who neglects their hair long enough will end up with locks, and you cannot appropriate a natural occurrence like dreadlocks. But anyways, why would anyone want to? Gain 3 likes. Emor Tanzi says, someone tell this clown that black people have the right to have hairstyles in spite of what white people did thousands of years ago. You got 10 likes. Was she ratioed? Crazy Redhead says, you need a law to give you permission for a hairstyle? How weak is that? I do whatever I want with my hair. Getting 2 likes. Wild D Chemistry says, you missed the entire point. You sound low IQ. Getting 4 likes. So she was not ratioed. Well, number of comments, but not by number of likes. Mrs. B has the comic where you have the gal trying to give someone CPR. She's called Democrats. The person who needs CPR is called racism. She goes, don't die me, you bastard. We still need to use you. Getting 174 likes. Crazy Flicks says, quote, racism was almost gone, but then the Obamas got elected and set our country back 200 years. Getting 143 likes. JW says, yes, but according to Michelle Obama, she would wear her hair in a giant Angela Davis afro, but white people forced her to straighten her hair. Getting 66 likes. Michael Wachowski says, clearly modern-day Nordics should collect their hair reparations from African Americans, getting 130 likes. Let's see. Patriot Forge says, quote, this protected hairstyle farce is in progress is pure racial pandering built on fabricated history. Vikings dreadlocked, Romans curled, and every culture braided since forever. Why invent victimhood when the real crime is dividing us by facilities? Scrap this nonsense, getting 103 likes. Here. Cow Lives Matter says 3 weeks ago, no kings. Today, Crown Act. It's literally the old switcheroo, getting 78 likes. And with the exception of someone who has like short green hair working at retail, I don't know if there's like bosses who would care about hairstyles. I don't know anyone who's actually ever been fired by that, but let me know your thought. Do we need yet another law? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so click that button. Greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback. Let me know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.